This is Helen from View IT Training. Welcome back. This is part 2 of our YouTube video on how to create an income and expenses sheet in Excel. If you haven't looked at part 1, maybe go back and look at the video I posted yesterday, and that will give you a few tutorial into how to start it. But let's hop across to Excel and let's look at where we are now. Okay, so this is the file that we're going to be creating by the end of this session. And if I move across to the next sheet, I'll show you where we're up to at the moment. So we've done all the income part of it, and we need to work out on our expenses. So we're going to do a bit of copying and pasting. We are going to do some more formatting, and we're going to do a bit of formula to work out the totals. And then we're going to do a final formula to work out the total remaining. Let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to copy the dates over. So I'm going to highlight the dates. Remember I said to you, when you're highlighting, make sure your mouse looks like a fat white cross. Otherwise you might find you have the same word going across all your cells. So let's highlight from cell A3 across to M3, all my months. And then I'm going to copy that. I'm going to use a nice little shortcut. On a laptop keyboard, it's Control and C. And then I'm going to paste that. I'm going to paste that in A11, and I'm going to use a shortcut to paste it. You can right click, or you can use the paste buttons at the top here, but I'm going to paste it using Control and V. Okay, so that should paste it. I don't know if you've noticed those dotted lines, little marching ants, are still going around all the dates that I've just copied, and that's because Excel is still in copy mode. So to stop that happening, I'm just going to press the escape key on my keyboard, and you'll find your escape key, if you're using a laptop, is in the top left hand corner of your keyboard. Just tap it once. Okay, so I'm now ready to put some details in. So I want to put in a few of my expenses, so maybe go through your bank statement and see what you've got. I'm actually going to put in a list of fairly standard ones that you might come across on a day-to-day basis. And obviously there's going to be more to add to it, and there might be some things like gym memberships and things that you're not using at the moment that you need to add in at a later date. Okay, so we've got a few to work with here. TV license, and let's put in, we want to put in 10% to our savings pot and our total income. Okay, so obviously you would list as many as you want there. So a couple of things I'd like to do. I'd like to change the colour of these so they're exactly the same as in the one above. Now I can do that easily using my Format Painter. Let me just show you where you'll find the Format Painter button. So I'm just going to use the Animate tool here to show you. Okay, so I've just drawn a little square around the Format Painter button, and that will help us locate it. So to use your Format Painter, you click on the word that you wish to copy the format of. So if you think when we copied the text before, we were copying, it copied the text and the format. This time I don't want to take the text, I just want the format. So I'm going to click on A4, the word wages, and I want to copy that formatting. And the formatting is things like the colour, the border, whether you've typed it in currency or not, everything like that. So when I've done that, I'm going to go to the top, I'm going to click my Format Painter once, and my mouse changes to a paintbrush. And I'm just going to paint by clicking and dragging right down the bottom, let go, and everything will change to have the same settings. It's a really quick way of format it. Now I can also do it where I've got here the borders. I might want to do the same there. So if I click on B4, I'm going to go back to my Format Painter, and I'm going to click and drag all the way across the cells I want to copy and let go. Okay. As a final thing, I'm actually going to copy my formats from cell B9 across the bottom of my expenses table. So clicking B8, click on my format painter to pick the format up, and then just drag or paint across the cells you want it to go to. Okay. If you want to keep the format painter so it doesn't go back, you can just double click on that button and it will hold on to the format painter. And the other thing, I'm just going to show you this. Now, I'm going to point at that button and a little very handy tip there that comes up. So if you need to use the format painter, you can just look at that tip and it will remind you. Okay, so already in a few minutes our spreadsheet is starting to look much better. Now let's put in our sum totals for January. I don't know if you remember how we did those yesterday. We went to the auto sum button. Sorry, we clicked in the answer cell first. So I'm going to click in B21. That's quite important. Your cursor must be on your answer. Then we went to the auto sum button and we then highlight what we want to add up. And then when we've added that up, we just press our enter key. Okay, so what we should have there is our totals. And if I then click and drag across exactly as we did for the income, I should then have totals for all my income. So now we've got our income and our expenses. We can start typing the figures in. And the other thing I would do here, so let's just imagine we had 1,000 coming in a month, okay, and I wanted to put that across for all the months. Let's say it was going to be the same. I could just drag it across so that it was consistent. Things like the TV license, which don't change, I want to make that £12.50 a month. So I can then say, okay, I'm going to put that figure in and I can drag that across because it's not going to change. It's going to be the same amount every month. If you've got things like gas and electric, maybe they come up for renewal after a certain time. So I can say, okay, I'm going to put in my amount that I need to spend. Again, this is a fictional figure. And let's say it's due for renewal, or I need to look at changing providers. I'm going to just drag that across to June. So this way, it's quite a good way of just knowing when things like your insurances end, because you will see that they don't actually go beyond that point. So it's quite a good way of keeping track of when you need to look at renewing, when you need to look at different providers. Okay, so in our spreadsheet now, if we go back to the sample one, we need to put our remaining. So let's just click on there. So in the last line, I'm going to put in remaining. As you see, it's taken on the format of our spreadsheet and it's kept the same colours. Actually want that a bit darker, so I'm going to go back. Do you remember that button we used yesterday, the paint pot, and that does the fill colour. So I can then go back and I can choose the same colour as I used before, and I can choose the same font. Now you might be saying, actually I'm going to go back a step and take that back. You might be saying, Helen, why didn't you use your format painter? So let's try that instead. So click on A11, click on my format painter, and I'm going to click on A23, and that will copy that format. Okay, I actually want that format to go all the way across, so I can just click on it, click on my format painter, and just drag all the way across that line. So the next thing we need now is a formula. I need to work out my income minus my expenses. Oh, and I've just realised, I'm just going to change that there. You've probably spotted this long before me. There we are. Okay. So what I need to do is take away my income. Got another, there we go. From my expenses. I'm actually going to put a capital E in there as well. Okay, did you see there? I was using the formula bar up here to do my editing. Sometimes the formula bar is a little bit easier than trying to edit in the cell. Okay, so back to the remaining. we always need to click in the cell where the answer is going to go. So when you're working out a formula, always start where the answer will go. I'm going to start with the equals button, and that tells Excel I'm going to work out a formula. Okay. And then I need to pick out the total income. Now the total income is actually located in B8. So I don't know if you can see in my formula bar, B8 has appeared. So I'm then going to use a minus sign, and I want to take off my total expenses. Now my total expenses is located in B21. So if I just click on B21, and that will also appear in my formula bar. So what it's telling me now is it's going to use B8 and it's going to minus B21. So all I need to do is press my enter key. Okay, and once that figure is in there, if I put any more figures in, so if I want to add in, say, a figure for the mortgage, because at the moment my remaining is looking very good, so I might put in £600 there, and you'll see that all my figures are changing, my totals and my remaining is updating, and this is where Excel really comes into its own. Let's try it again with February. So we start with the equals. We click on the first figure, which is the income for February. So that is in C8. Okay. Then we put a minus in, and then we click on the second figure, which is the income for C21. And then really important, press your enter key at the end. If you don't press enter, it will often end up putting other cell references in and you'll end up in a real pickle. So always press your enter key when you're finished. Now, once you've done one of them, we've done two calculations for the example. You can then drag that across. So remember, click on the answer. Make sure there's an answer in that cell, otherwise it won't work. Go to the bottom right corner and just drag across right to the end. And that should work out every single month. So we're nearly there. I just need to do one more thing. I'm going to highlight my table. And I want this to be in pounds because I just feel that pounds would work better. It would show up better. So the area I'm going to use to do this, I'm just going to put a box around it so you can see it quite clearly. Okay, that's it. This is your formatting box here. And what your formatting box allows you to do is add a format, as in currency, or maybe a date or something like that. So for instance, let me highlight all my income figures. I'm going to go to the drop down and I could choose currency or I could choose accounting. And there's a very subtle difference. So if I choose currency, that looks quite good. Now I might not be able to see the difference in accounting in this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the expenses one. I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to choose accounting. Okay, so what you'll see here, accounting actually puts the pound sign on the left hand side. So if I change that to currency, you'll see the difference. You'll see the pound sign actually is right next to the figures. So I'm going to leave it as currency. And then I'm going to do the same with the remaining. So that has allowed me to format all my spreadsheet. And when I put figures in now, I can put my house insurance figure in B13. So let's say that's £43 a month. And that will automatically be changed to currency. What a lot of people have a habit of doing is doing the formatting as they go along, but there's no reason why you can't either do it all at the end or do it all before you put your figures in, and then you haven't got to keep redoing it. I really hope this has helped. Really appreciate any comments you might have on it. Maybe you can suggest some improvements to it. That'd be great. Don't forget those two buttons we looked at on your ribbon, the formatting button, which is highlighted in red, and the format painter. So hopefully they'll give you some tools that will make it a lot easier to do your spreadsheets. Good luck with them, and look out for more videos soon. We're going to do another one on how to work out the 10% of the savings tomorrow. Thanks very much. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Oh, and finally, if you are interested in any other of our courses, I'll just show you our contact details here, and we're running webinars and online training over the next few months in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Office 365 and Teams. So if you need any more assistance, you want to learn anything, then do get in touch. Thank you. Bye-bye.